Hey guys, so Alyssa here over at Books and Cats, and today I shall be talking about how I read the 5 lowest rated books on my TBR. So, I made this video actually not that long ago, and I wasn't planning on doing like a follow-up, like specifically doing a video talking about those books that I read. I mostly was just like showing them, but I decided I had no other plans for the rest of November, so I dedicated that to reading those books. We're going to talk about them. I have some interesting results, I guess, and some unexpected results, and we'll just get right into it. Okay, so the first book that I read in my lowest rated list was The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. I listened to this on audiobook. I ended up giving it 4 stars. This was an interesting read. I really enjoyed the audiobook and like listening to her because like she had like a really cool like voice. She had like a distinct way of talking and a distinct voice, and it was very cool listening to the audiobook. Obviously it's like a biography, but I don't know how to really rate biographies yet because I really haven't read any, but it was still good. I learned a lot that I didn't know about. When it came to the Harrison Ford chapter, at first I wasn't really like enjoying it because I'm not a fan of cheating. It's just not what I'm into. But at the end, she ended up saying something along the lines of like, you know, don't even really bother giving me crap for this because I already feel guilty enough. I don't know, it was just a very interesting and tactful way to tell it. And there was a part in the beginning where she was saying how she wants to tell it before she dies and someone else tells it, so that way kind of like the facts of the situation can get out. And especially considering she passed so shortly after that book was released, was just like, it really like stuck out to me. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I liked how I didn't have to be a huge Star Wars fan to read it and still enjoy it because she's really, really funny. I liked it as much as I thought I would. I didn't think it would be a new favorite, but I still enjoyed it, and that's that. The next book that I read, which was a book I was really not sure how I would go, is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. This had a 3.67 rating on Goodreads, and I don't think I really looked at other people's reviews of it or how other people felt. I read In a Dark, Dark Wood and, you know, had some mixed feelings about it, but I didn't dislike it enough to not read more by her. Sure enough, this plot-wise was much more fleshed out than In a Dark, Dark Wood. Much better. The big reason why this wasn't like a honestly knock out of the park read, I gave it 4 stars. The reason it wasn't out of the park was because there was so much body shaming. I just was not here for it. I knew it going in though. Trina over at Between Chapters, I will link her review down below because she really goes in depth. She really includes a lot of the quotes, specifically where it has these comments, and so grateful she did that like review because otherwise I would have had no idea. Overall, it was a really good book. I was surprised by the ending. I didn't have any idea where it was going to go throughout the entire book, which was nice because a lot of times like I'm not even like consciously doing it. I just like guess and then like it happens and then I'm like, I didn't want to know that. This one, I really had no idea where it was going to go. It's definitely one of those books where the second half makes up for the setup that the first half of the book does. And there is like an element in the very beginning of the book that like I still don't know what purpose it served. Like it just felt like it was thrown in there to purposely be used against the main character later and didn't really give anything to the story. Overall, I still really enjoyed it. I will continue to read more from Ruth Ware. I've heard The Death of Mrs. Westaway is really, really good. So, yeah. So the next book that I finished was The Doll by Daphne du Maurier. So, this was a very interesting book to read because I have not much read a book based almost entirely on really bad people. This had some very fascinating stories because it really delves into the minds of people, and it's so interesting the way that she writes. Like, she was a good writer, y'all. She was good. The way at first the character presents themselves as, like, you know, they think they're a good person and they do this and they do that, and then a thought pops up in their head. And you're like, whoa, that's not a good thought at all. That's, like, not... And that happened so many times, and each time I was like, whoa. Like, the author really just, like, tricked me. It was a lot of people thinking that they were okay people or presenting as good people at first, and then turning out to, like, have a really bad trait, which I found really, really fascinating. Overall, this was like a 3.25 because there were some stories in here that were just not good. They were just not good. I definitely rated a fair amount 4 stars. There was a 1 star, there was a 2 star, and some of them I just didn't really understand the point. Like, what point are you trying to give me? Like, you're not telling me that this person is an outwardly bad person. You're not giving me that they're necessarily a good person. You're not giving me really any plot. You're not really giving me anything. I felt like that's how some of the stories felt. This book I would describe as reading about a bunch of people who don't think that they're terrible and they're low-key terrible. If you like stories about not morally gray, but just bad people, I do recommend this. I'm actually below the average rating for this. So, yeah. So, on to the next one, which is All We Can Do Is Wait by Richard Lawson. I DNF'd this because I didn't care. When I made that video, I said that most likely I would DNF this because it's contemporary. And I'm glad I did, because so many people have said, like, on looking up reviews of this, that it's just, there's no plot. This was a DNF. I'm not saying it's a bad book. I just don't care. And the last book that I DNF'd, which was such a shock, and I did not expect this because I really thought I was gonna freaking love this book, is The Collide by Kimberly McCreight. I freaking DNF'd this. I think I DNF'd it at like 50 pages or something. I'm really disappointed. I cannot remember the last time I have DNF'd a trilogy or like a YA series or anything like that. I am so disappointed. This is the last book in the Outliers trilogy. And reading reviews, I'm so glad I did not continue because I didn't like how this is being told. You have multiple POVs, and I don't know why the author decided to do that in the last book of all times. I don't like it. And come to find out, some of the way, like, the way that the plot ends up turning out isn't even satisfying. 2 of my favorite characters that I want to see interact don't even interact throughout the entire book, which is what I was here for after the second book, and they don't. So that made me mad. Overall, people just said it was very unsatisfying, and there was a lot opened up at the end, and then no resolution, and I'm disappointed because this had a lot of potential, and I felt like the first 2 were really solid, and then, like, the author was building up so much to this book, and then, like, didn't do it. I'm so disappointed. I'm just so disappointed. So, some unexpected results out of that one, honestly. I expected I would love The Collide. I DNF'd it. I expected to DNF All We Can Do Is Wait, and overall, I read some good books. I read some mixed reviews books, and then I DNF'd a couple. What is the takeaway? I don't even know my own reading taste. That's the takeaway of this video. Just goes to show you, reading taste is highly individual, and definitely varies. If you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to know. I would love to know. So that's all I got. If you want, all of my social media will be linked down below. And if you want, you can go ahead and subscribe. Try to upload once a week. And that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I shall see you in the next one. Bye!